everyone, and welcome back. It's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today I am back with the May 2023 dollar bead box and bag subscriptions. The box itself is the main subscription, but you have the option of adding on the bag for an extra $8 a month, and that contains an additional 8 strands of check glass fire polish beads that we will take a look at. Being a subscriber means you also get access to their online store at dollarbeadbox.com, where you can pick up a lot of these items and more for just $1 a piece or bag or strand. And that's one of those shops where you do have to be a subscriber to this box, for example, or a member. But all that information is listed on their website, which I have linked right down below the video, and they also have additional options you can choose from when you're signing up as far as how long you'd like to sign up. And if you sign up for a longer period of time, they include the shipping cost as one of those added benefits. So let's go ahead and open this up and see what's inside. And there is our dollar bead bag right on top. That's that $8 add-on. And inside, we're going to take a look at 4 strands of 3mm and 4 strands of 4mm check glass faceted round fire polish beads. It's a really great deal adding these on at just $1 per strand when you average that out. And lately, we've been getting some really fun coordinating color palettes that even go along with the contents of the dollar bead box. So we'll see if that checks out again this month. But it's a great way to build up your stash of fire polish beads for a pretty low cost on a regular basis, getting a wide range of colors and finishes, and being able to sample different things that you can go back and order more of at their online store. So to begin, here are the 4 strands of 3mm fire polish beads. Starting on the left, we have the lovely pink opal, which is in that creamy pastel pink with the normal glossy shine on the exterior. Next up is the light rose gold luster, or you could get the light amethyst gold luster. And I'm thinking this might be the light rose, but those will be pretty similar, having a combination of the transparent glass, whether that's in the more purplish or pinkish tone, and that beautiful gold shine that you see on the surface. The third strand is the multi-bronze mix, which is always fun. We see that a lot in the check glass, which contains mostly different shades of gold, like antique gold. We also see some bronze, a bit of copper, and the occasional magenta and other bit of color showing up too. For the last one, we could have the matte vintage bronze or the crystal vintage bronze. So looking at these, I think this is the crystal vintage bronze. It isn't super shiny, but it doesn't look really matte either to me. Still has a bit of that metallic shine and a bit of transparency because that vintage bronze or vintage golden finish isn't totally opaque and lets some of the crystal clear glass show through from underneath. So that's a great start to our bag this month. And I like the way the pink is suggested to pick up some of the deep pinkish purple that we see show up every so often in the strands of the multi-bronze mix. And for our 4mm fire polish strands, we have some even brighter colors, which also complement these in a really fun summery way. So here are the 4 bright and summery complements to the other strands in the larger 4mm size. Starting on the left, we have the opaque yellow with no additional finish on that solid color. The second strand on the left is the deep fuchsia, which has a bit of transparency and works really well with some of the pinkish and purple strands, depending on what you received in the 3mm selection. The third one is called Deep Ochre, so it's more of a neutral, sort of an opaque antique golden color, which could also tone down that bright yellow a little bit too. And our last one is in the Crystal Fire Orange, that transparent blaze orange color, all of these kind of reminding me of a fiery sunset. So those are the contents of that additional add-on bag if you want to get that in addition to your dollar bead box subscription. Every month, everyone will get the same 8 strands as detailed on the list there, but there may be some alternates, like where it says you could get one thing or the other. Also, you can see that note there at the bottom that these items will definitely be available to reorder through June 2023 for subscribers, and those will be available for $1 per strand, along with a lot of other items that they carry. But now let's bring in our dollar bead box. We have a note on the top. And usually here we just find an update about some of the things that are going on, maybe some things they've added to their shop or some sales coming up. And here it just mentions that they were able to travel back to Europe, which is so exciting, giving them the ability to see some of the products that they'll be including in future boxes and bags, but also meaning they'll be a little bit short-staffed while they're away. On the back of our note, of course, is the list of our contents. We start out with the selections of strands. We've got lots more check glass to take a look at in that section, and the additional items section, which is where we see the items that are bagged up. And you can think of these as a great way to sample some of the things that they have in their shop. And while these items didn't used to have a particular color scheme, it does look like they are following some more color coordination with their boxes, which I happen to personally like because then you can make some finished pieces more easily directly from what you receive in your package, which is always fun. So let's get started by taking a sneak peek at our box contents. So here is how everything is packaged, and we're going to start out with our strands. So I'll get organized and we'll take a look at all these items one at a time. We begin with a 18-piece strand of the 8mm check glass cherry flowers in dark pink. And they have that gorgeous, sort of toned down metallic pink color coding all around the surface. And these 5 petal shapes have a hole that runs through the side of the bead, going through the center of the shape, allowing the face of the flower, that design, to show completely when you string these on for a project. Next up is an item we see from time to time. It's some check glass beaded chain, 7 inches worth, and this is in the multi mix. And so we have the different colors, but also slightly different sizes and a couple different shapes here to play around with. This chain you could use just as it is. You don't have to even take it apart if you don't want to, but you have some options. You can either take these beads off of the links altogether or just separate the links and use them however you'd like to. I'll show you these next two together because they are the exact same beautiful peach satiny color. These are the check glass pearls in both the 3mm and the 6mm sizes, with that satiny color coating all over the surface and really intact and in great shape. There are 40 pieces of the 3mm size and 20 pieces of the 6mm size. And it's really nice to get these two different sizes of this color, especially if you wanted to use them in the same type of project. Next, we have 25 pieces of the 3x8mm 3-hole check glass Cali beads in the color called Opaque Carnation Pink, which is really beautiful and has just a hint of the darker shade showing up in the center, maybe where these are pressed together. And just folding that strand back there so you can see the face of the bead, how it's shaped, and where those 3 holes are located. And I like seeing the multi-hole beads show up in the strands and additional items from time to time because they are a higher value. So the fact that you can pick up more of these for $1 per strand is really great. And usually they have multiple colors. And now we're looking at a 16-piece strand of the 8mm check glass melon beads. And you have 2 different options. You could either get the pink with silver speckles like we have here, or you could get the raspberry copper. So a couple different options. This one in the transparent pink at the base, and of course having the splash of silver metallic wash over the top, showing up randomly all around the surface of these round beads with the ribbed additional texture and adding in a little bit more pink here to a lot of the different shades we see this month in the palette. And our final item in the strand section is one strand containing 25 pieces of check glass Lucerna bicones in the 6mm size, and you could either get pink or pink opal. So what I have here is the pink opal. It's got that creamy effect to the glass, which is kind of a cross between an opaque and a transparent. Maybe you'd call that translucent. But every so often you get a little flash of light coming through, especially like you can see on that one, just a little bit of a fiery appearance, which is a pretty effect on these light pink check glass bicones with the classic bicone shape but more smoothed out edges than we see in the crystal varieties. So we have a great combination of strands, I think, to work with this month if you wanted to put some things together directly from the package. And in our additional items section, in our little bags, we have 11 additional items. And there's actually a bonus bag that's listed at the bottom. So we have 12 more things to look at, and I think you'll really like the bonus. It's quite beautiful and different from what I've seen come in the box. So we'll take a look at that at the very end. Right now, just starting though with our first bag in this section with 8 pieces of 7 by 10mm check glass tulip beads in the color called Crystal Fuchsia. So here we can see those tulip-shaped beads that have the same design on both sides, and I think there's a hint of copper coming from the inner lining of the hole, so that's kind of nice too. Brings in a little tiny hint of orange to the bright pink that these beads are overall, and also ties in some of the orange that we've seen in our contents. Speaking of orange, up next we have a bag containing 14 pieces of the 3 by 6mm check glass rondelles in orange opal. So here's a fiery mix of different shades of orange, some of that deeper orange in streaks across these glass rondelles, and a little bit of yellow too showing up on these little smooth, flat, glossy, round discs. And now we'll take a look at a set of 2 of the 14mm check glass flowers. These are in pink opal with the copper wash. And here we have another check glass pressed floral shape, this time with the copper wash. You can see highlighting the details of these flowers. They're also in a medium shade of pink, and that shape looks like it coordinates really well with that other strand of check flowers we took a look at in our strand section before. These also have a similar style with 5 petals and the similar hole placement. And again, suggest bringing in a little bit of that orange or copper color along with the pink. Our fourth bag contains 50 pieces of the opaque red 4mm size pressed glass round druck beads. So a decent amount here of the classic opaque red round beads, which work great in place of pearls or anything that's of a similar size. A very versatile size and shape, and another warm color tone to add to our mix of pinks, oranges, and peach. And now we have a bag containing 8 pieces of the 5mm check hexagons in full coat gold. There they are with their very bright, shiny, reflective surface. And like it says, the gold is coated throughout the entire bead on both sides and also around most of the edges. These have a slightly larger hole than we usually see in the standard check glass beads. So you could even get away with slipping these onto some, say, 1mm, maybe even 1.5mm diameter cord or some type of a thin chain. Next are some additional flowers. We have 4 of the 14mm in the center drilled shape. These are in the bright pink copper color combination. So here they are, and I have one flipped over to the back. They all look like that pretty much on the back with that more solid, saturated, metallic, antique gold tone. And the fronts of these flowers having that mix of pink and copper, which is really beautiful. These also being in a 5-petal shape, but the hole placement is a little bit different, going directly through the center of the face of the flower. And in addition to our beads, we see some metallic components from time to time, sometimes some stringing material and other helpful beading accessories and unique things to work with, like this one, which is a 26 millimeter round brass stamping. Here's a look at the front, which offers a lot of detail and openings if you wanted to bead directly onto this component. That can be really fun, and you can also use this, of course, in wire projects and other multimedia beading designs. Something like this being really versatile and full of possibilities. There's a look at the back. You can see it's a little bit different back there and quite thin, but still sturdy enough to where it will keep that round shape. Next, we'll take a look at a set of 2 of the 9x20 check glass drop beads. These are in garnet with bronze. I'll hold that one up to the light just a little bit. You can see the dark reddish tone glass and also the copper metallic finish that is surrounding the very top and the bottom of these drop beads. They have a bit of faceting as well, and then get smooth and rounded at the bottom and very top, and that hole goes right through the length of that shape. Somehow I missed this bag on the list as I was going down in order. This contains 2 pieces of the 12x14 millimeter check pillow beads in pink opal. These have a combination of the pink and also some white striations going through the glass, which also lets some light through in this rounded but slightly irregular shape, hole going up through the center of these beads. And I could see these being cute on a pair of earrings, especially when you're able to allow that light to pass through and show off the pretty inside of the bead. And now we have 2 pieces of the 10 millimeter check glass bellflowers in yellow/lilac/crystal. So these have quite a lovely combination of things going on too, with some of that opaque lilac showing up, streaking through with that bright yellow inside the crystal clear glass, and that bellflower shape, hole going through the center of the flower, and all of them being just slightly different the way those colors are showing up. And then last, before the bonus, we have a bag containing the 12x12 millimeter tiara cast honeybee charm in antique gold. So here is our plated metallic component by Tiara Cast, which is a great quality brand of metallic findings and components like this, which are usually full of a lot of detail. Like this one, even though it's a really small honeybee charm, it is different on both sides. I like the fact that it's double-sided too, but there's a look at the other side, so you don't really have to worry too much about if that flips over or anything. It looks really nice at every angle. And finally, we'll take a look at our bonus item. Here it says we have a 25x30 millimeter purple agate oval, 1 piece included. This is really substantial and I can't wait to see it out of the bag. And here it is. Isn't that stunning? It's got a great combination of the dyed purple color in the agate, which picks up a bit of the pink as well that we have in our palette. There are some black, white, and gray areas showing up included in the stone. And this is a bead. You can see how it's got the hole that runs straight through the center of that large oval. Be perfect for a focal component or to use in some type of wire wrapping. or something very simple to show off the beautiful details in the stone as a pendant. So that wraps it up for this month's May 2023 dollar bead box and bag monthly subscription. I think they've done another great job. You really get a solid mix of all different items across the different things that they carry, and in high quality check glass too. Not only the really basic and simple round pressed drucks or pearls or fire polished beads, but also some of the really fun pressed check glass shapes like we have the examples of here in all sorts of different flowers, and the occasional metallic components and other items that complement the glass beads. Like I said, I do have the link for this one right down below the video. You can check out all the details about signing up and the cost, but overall it runs about $20-ish per month for the box, give or take a little bit, and depending on how long you sign up and whether or not that shipping is included in the cost, and then that bag being the additional $8 a month add-on. Also remember that perk that you can go back and order any of these items on their website and their shop for just $1 per piece or strand. So this also allows you to sample some of these items in person first, and you can decide if you'd like to pick up some more of those and you know where you can find them. I also really like this warm summery palette. I can see that there are a number of things that would work great together that we're taking a look at all together on the bead mat. But that's just my opinion. Feel free to share your thoughts right down below in the comments section, because I always love to hear from you. Feel free to give the video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it and found it helpful to take a look at these items up close, especially since there are a number of bead box options out there, and it's great to find the ones that really speak to you. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button because I'd love to have you back. But that's all I have for now. Until next time, I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.